All right, let's talk about something that trips up a ton of English learners, and that is reported speech. In this explainer, we're going to ditch the dusty old textbook rules and show you how to actually use it so you can sound way more natural and confident when you speak. Yeah, does this sound familiar? He said me that. Or you're just kind of frozen, not sure if you should change the tense or what to do. We have all been there. It's probably one of the most common hurdles, but it's easier to fix than you think. And that's what we're going to do today. You're about to learn the big secret. And hint, it's not about memorizing more charts or more rules. It's about getting into a more intuitive, natural mindset that native speakers use all the time without even realizing it. Okay, so first things first, let's just make sure we're all on the same page. What even is this whole reported speech puzzle? It's really just this. It's telling someone what another person said. It's how we pass on messages, how we tell stories, how we gossip. Instead of using quotation marks and their exact words, we're just relaying the message. Simple as that. So here's the classic example everyone learns in school. Someone says, "I'm fixing the bug." Later, you report that by saying, "She said she was fixing the bug." And you see that little tense shift? Am becomes was. That's the foundation of everything we're taught about reported speech. And that basic idea is what leads us to the official rule, the one you see in every single grammar book. And here's that chart. It seems pretty logical, right? The rule is just take one step back into the past. Present becomes past simple becomes past perfect, will becomes would. It looks like a nice, clean, logical system. But here it is. Here's the most important question of this whole explainer. Do native speakers actually follow this chart all the time? Is this how we really talk? And the answer is a definite, resounding no. And that brings us to the real secret, the thing that will completely change how you approach this. Forget the chart for a second. In natural, spoken English, context is king. I want you to burn this into your brain. The decision you make about tenses has less to do with a memorized rule and everything to do with the real-world situation. This is the big mindset shift. It's all about what's actually happening. Okay, this slide right here, this is the new rule of thumb. It's so much simpler. If the situation is over, if the information is old news, yeah, you shift the tense back. And here's the game changer. If the information is still true right now, you can just keep the same tense. You don't have to change it. Let's make this real. Imagine you're at work and your colleague runs over and says this to you. "The servers are down." Okay, so if you're telling this story the next day and the servers are totally fine now, you'd use that tense shift. You'd say, "He said the servers were down." Using were sends a signal that this is old news, the problem is over. But what if you're walking into a meeting 5 minutes after he told you and the problem is still very much real? You would run in and say, "He said the servers are down." You keep the present tense because it's a current, active, ongoing situation. See the difference? It's all about the context, not the chart. Okay, you're getting it. Now let's really put this secret to work with a few more examples you're probably going to hear in your own workplace. So picture this. You're in your morning stand-up, and one of the developers says this. Now, when you tell your manager about it later in the afternoon, you'd say, "She said she was deploying the update." And why? Because that action, deploying the update, is a specific event that happened this morning. It's done. The situation has changed. Now, for a totally different kind of statement. This isn't a one-time thing happening right now. This is a general truth about how the company works. And here's our new rule in action, perfectly. When you report this, you would naturally say, "They said they use GitHub for all projects." You keep the present tense because it's a fact that is still true. If you said they used GitHub, it might actually confuse the other person, making them think you don't use it anymore. Context is everything. All right, feeling good? You've got the main secret down. So let's level up and quickly see how this same natural mindset applies to some slightly trickier things like questions, requests, and those modal verbs. Okay, reporting requests or commands is actually super easy. Just follow these 3 steps. So if your boss says, "Send me the report," you start with tell or ask, add the object me, and then use to plus the verb. It just becomes, "He told me to send the report." It's a really clean and simple pattern. Modals pretty much follow that same step-back logic. So can becomes could, will becomes would. But check this out, the ones that are already kind of past tensey like should or could, they don't change at all. They just stay the same, which honestly makes it a lot easier. So let's just wrap it all up. This is the new mindset. If you're talking about something that's over and done, shift the tense. If you're talking about something that is still true right now, keep the tense. Always remember that the real-world context matters so much more than any grammar chart. The whole point is to communicate like a real person, not like a robot reading from a rulebook. So I'll leave you with this challenge. The very next time you need to tell someone what somebody else said, just pause for a second. And don't you dare think about that grammar chart. Instead, just ask yourself one question about the timeline. Is this information still true, or is it over? Answering that one simple question is how you are going to truly master reported speech.